Hey, AP Psych students, it's Mrs. Sewell. I don't have my camera on today because it's Sunday and I have my Sunday hair, which is just really unattractive. So we're just going to go with the screen share today, and I'm going to talk to you about dreams. Now, what I'm trying to do is set up a video each day so that you can go back and listen to the video if you're absent, or some of you may want to just choose to do a self-paced lesson. I'm going to give you that choice. You always have to check in with attendance. But if you prefer not to do the live session, you'd rather go listen to the video, that's fine too. Especially if you're having sound issues, sometimes I just go away. This may be a little bit easier for you. And then, if I have a sub or something, everybody can that self-paced one. So I'm going to try and do it. It takes a lot to get a video done every night, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So let's talk about dreams today. We talked about sleep. We know all about sleep and the sleep theories, all the stages of sleep. We've talked about our suprachiasmatic nucleus and, our circadian rhythms, all that good stuff. Today, we're just talking about dreams, all right? So why do we dream, all right? There are lots of people and lots of books out there that can tell you what your dreams mean. There's really no evidence that any of that is true. It's kind of like astrology. Now, some of you are going to be, but I love astrology. Well, it's cool, it's fun. Is it real? That's, something we could debate. Same with dreams. I'm very distrustful of anybody that tells me what my dreams mean, but there's lots of books written on it, lots of money made off interpreting people's dreams. Okay, so what do we dream? In general, most of our dreams are actually kind of negative, and so 8 to 10 of our dreams have some kind of a negative emotional content. A lot of times it's about failure. We dream that we failed, that someone's attacking us, that we're being chased or pursued, that someone's rejected us, or something bad has happened. So there's a lot of failure in our dreams. That must be something we're worrying about. Sexual dreams are not that common, actually. For men, it's a little more common than in women. About 1 in 10 dreams for men are sexual in nature, and only about 1 out of every 30 for women are sexual in nature. So, I think most people would say it was higher than that, but it's not. Dreams of gender. Women dream equally about men and women. So in their dreams, they're going to see men and women. Men tend to dream actually more about men than women. So, they, may dream about brothers, fathers, friends, things like that. Women dream of both. It's not sexual dreams. Remember that. That's uncommon. All right. So, all right. The other thing that happens in our dreams is we incorporate stimuli that are, in our environment. So if maybe the phone's ringing and there's a ringing to your alarm, you may actually have some kind of ringing going on in your dream. And so your brain's kind of adding in the stimuli. You may also dream about the day's events. Like some girls on Monday will be trying out for volleyball. So Sunday night, maybe that's what they're dreaming about. They're dreaming about playing volleyball and trying out. Tonight, on Monday night, you may be dreaming about taking the test in psych tomorrow, or maybe there's an AP Calc test or something like that. So something that is happened in the day or that you're worried about happening the next day. All those can be content for a dream. So we'll talk about the theories behind it. We don't know exactly why we dream or what we dream specifically. And remember, where does this information come from? From talking to people and sleep studies and things like that. Oops, I think I'm going to skip a slide. All right. There are different theories about why we dream. So as I've said many times, when there's multiple theories, that means we don't exactly know. And I always take it as probably a little bit of each one is true. Freud said we dream to satisfy our wishes. It's called wish fulfillment. Some scientists believe, or psychologists believe, we dream to file away memories. So as we sleep, our memories are being put away. It's like somebody goes in and does the filing, so you can start fresh the next day. Some neuroscience say it's just to help us develop and preserve neural pathways. So we're thinking and making those connections as we sleep. Others say it's just static. I mean, our brain is active in some ways, and then we're trying to interpret that brain activity, that neural static, and that's how we come up with dreams. And then others say that we have we dream about it's cognitive development, things we know. So things we've known, things we've learned. Okay. The thing is we know we do dream. We dream in the REM stage, and we need that REM sleep. Okay, it's important sleep, even though it's not as good as that deep NREM 3 stage sleep. But also be aware of REM rebound. When you lose sleep, you miss out on sleep, you stay up too late, or you skip sleep in any way, the next time you sleep, you're going to actually have more REM sleep. It's called REM rebound. And so, like I said, this was on the AP exam this year on a few of the exams. So that's one you want to keep in mind, that REM rebound. The idea that when you miss sleep, when you make it up, you don't get that good deep sleep, you get more REM dreaming sleep. So you're going to tend to dream more when you've missed sleep. Okay. All right, let's talk about why we dream. The first one is the first theory of dreams came from Sigmund Freud, and he said that our dreams are wish fulfillment. You got to remember, Freud's very sexual. We don't really follow this anymore. Most people have discarded this. Most of Freud is just historic in nature, and we don't really use it. He said that our dreams are a psychic safety valve and help us get rid of our unacceptable feelings, what we feel are unacceptable. And so often our dreams are, erotic in nature, erotic wishes or inappropriate things, inappropriate desires, things like that. He looked at two things, and you really need to know this: the manifest content versus the latent content. And he would look at the dream's manifest content. That's the content that's apparent. So if I dream about an elephant, then the elephant is manifest content. It is what I see. I see an elephant. But he would then interpret that manifest content to find the hidden meaning. And the hidden meaning is latent content. So what does that elephant mean? Does it mean, my desires have inflated, to the size of an elephant or something like that? And that often that latent content will be the source or signify our unacceptable feelings. Now, remember, he's interpreting that into the situation. So he would do dream analysis and have people report on their dreams, and then he would interpret, this is the latent content. They would tell him, here's the manifest content, here's what I'm saying, and he would say, well, here's the meaning of what you're saying. So the meaning behind what you're seeing is the latent content, and the manifest content is the apparent, what you see. What you see is what you get, kind of thing. So that is one theory. That's Freud's theory. Again, not really believed in or used today. So that one is, but it's one you need to know. Also know that Freud is criticized, his approach is criticized as not scientific. And that's mostly, anytime you see Freud, if you want a criticism, it's not scientific. And, it all comes down to who's doing the interpreting. So, that is not very objective. It's very subjective on the part of essentially the psychoanalyst. So not really used anymore. It makes it more interesting. And then today, people who are going to interpret your dreams, that's really what they're doing. They'll say, this means that. So they're talking about manifest and latent content. So those people that are out there making big bucks off dream interpretation, they're really kind of following that Freud perspective. Okay. The next perspective, or the next theory, is information processing. Information processing is just the filing cabinet theory, is what I call it, is that with our dreams, it's helping us kind of sort and file away our experiences for the day into our memories. This happens, of course, during that REM sleep. It helps us consolidate the memories. So it's all about trying to build memories. So information processing is really trying to, I just think of it as a little person in your head, filing everything away. Okay. And so we're going to dream about what's happened, and they're going to file it away. So you're making those connections and storing away so you can remember it later. It's about memory. This one is criticized because sometimes we dream about things we haven't actually experienced. So how is that information processing? So that's the big criticism about information processing, is wait a minute, I dream about things. I might even dream about people I don't even know. So how am I trying to, build my memory when it's things that are, they're not within my memory or that actually happened to me. So that's the criticism of information processing. All right. The physiological function. Now, this is not the major ones. Freud's wish fulfillment, information processing, and the and activation synthesis. Sorry, I kind of forgot there. Activation synthesis are the important ones. All right, so make sure you put stars by those. Physiological function is that we are just creating neural pathways and neural networks in our dreams, and so it just helps us build those pathways. It helps us remember things, and that's what REM sleep is designed for. Okay, and so it's purely physiological. It's just happening. It's a body function to make neural pathways. And so the criticism of physiological function is that sometimes we have meaningful dreams, and this really doesn't explain why our dreams seem to have meaning to us. Okay, next one is activation synthesis. This is a big one. It's bottom-up brain activation. This is the idea that there are things happening in our brainstem, and there's a lot of neural activity. So neurons are firing in our brain. Somehow the limbic system, which is involved in our emotions, the amygdala is part of the limbic system. Sometimes it's very active in REM sleep, right? But also we have the frontal lobe, and that's our rational thought. It's kind of laid back, and so we've got these wild things happening, the emotional things. Remember, we dream of fear and kind of negative things through that, and that our dreams we're trying to make sense of this neural firing. Sometimes it's called neural activation. And so it's just randomness, all right? There's not anything that is, specific and, that is provoked. It's just random things, and then our brain is making stories out of it. And, they say this is, tells us still something about the dreamer, because the way we weave the stories is going to, depend on how we think to some effect. So you can kind of look at that. So that's one thing to think about. But activation synthesis, we're just trying to make sense of this random neural activity that's going on in our brain. Okay. And the very last one is cognitive development. So cognitive development is like top down. It's just we're dreaming as our brain develops. And so we are dreaming about things we've learned and processed, and the experiences and knowledge that we have, and we create these dreams. It doesn't deal with any of the neuroscience going down. It's just about the growth of the brain. And so cognitive development says that our dream content will reflect our cognitive ability or our cognitive development, what we know and what we understand, so our experiences and knowledge. So that's cognitive. Again, that's not a very popular one. Activation, synthesis, and information processing. Those are the ones you want to know. We need REM sleep. It is linked to learning and memory. If you're deprived of REM sleep, then that causes problems for us. And remember, you've got the whole idea of REM rebound. So if you get deprived of sleep, the one sleep that we are certain to make up is going to be REM sleep, because we have a REM rebound, and we'll spend more time in that makeup sleep in REM than we will in any other stage of sleep. One thing to remember is that we all dream, okay? Whether you dream or whether you think so or not, everybody dreams. And dreams will include any kind of images, events, sounds, and any other kind of sensation that we experience while we sleep. In some cultures, they believe that our dreams tell our future. They're like an oracle or a prophecy. And other cultures see it as a pathway into some kind of other dimension, maybe to meet ancestors and things like that, or to some kind of inner hidden world. So dreams are very interesting, if nothing else. But why do we dream it? We don't know exactly. So be sure you know the Freudian wish fulfillment, activation, synthesis theory, and the information processing model, and you should be good to go on dreams.